So some people, donations would be big, school would be changed. You are getting back to what you got started one day. My expenses are super high, so I wanted to get back on groceries. said that she didn't die right away. So we had to shoot the man. And at that point in time, we said, my dad came out of the room. And boom, boom, shot him. And then my mother came out of the room, shot him. Then he said, took a gas man, put gas all over the place. Jason backs up and he claims his parents and his family told him happened that night. He says that Jason told the RCMP. I said, well, I said, he shot him. He said, well, he shot him. I said, who's the shooter? He said, right. So we'll talk about the gun and stuff a little bit. And I said, well, tell you, I didn't know what to do with it. Yeah, he said, he was in because of the troubles. He said, and so then he talked about whenever he talked to the truck that was missing from the farm was down by the river. After the Flowers property, he's the one who said he's doing farmers and people up there with the night. He just go to the broad road, he would go around and see the pictures from down there before he comes to the library. I did the same thing. Investigators showed up in town and basically actually insisted on Jason had told us during that event.
It's important for investigators to locate and speak with witnesses as soon as possible after it occurs. Information that they may be able to provide has a certain value which could keep reading the long words left for them to think about. Their memories are often contaminated or tainted by information they take from other sources, and what they actually saw versus what they heard about often become conflated. So the sooner the investigators can speak with them, the sooner better. Asking a person to provide their account of the events in their own words from start to finish is a useful tool. Often what they leave out is what telling them what they
turned down for any reason. Benefits may be paid within 24 hours. Unlike some policies, National Law benefits are available from day one. With one quick call, you can qualify for the $25,000 life insurance coverage. Help take care of your loved ones after you're gone. The Guaranteed Acceptance Life Insurance Policy that we added in Omaha today.
Call 800-960-9796. That's 800-960-9796. 800-960-9796. Call today.
I've been taking care of Jack since he came home from Vietnam. It's a lot of work. I'm getting older too, and I really just need a break. We found Missing Angels just in time. Now our Waldo takes Jack to work, and I have time for friends again. We go to the gym, I can get my nails done. Missing Angels has been a lifesaver for both of us.
So we ensure for ourselves. Those who can us from basically commonwealth formula results of cholesterol made to fit easily to use. So the system working in that way is very uniform dose so that the system gets what's there.
The clock's now been 7 days in the middle of the night. With Gordon, Sandy, Kevin, and Monica all inside. Jason was Gordon and Sandy's son, and leads more training on a nice outdoor property. He's included multiple times by the RCM, as well as by other investigators, each profession. All that's left is to get Josh.
I love Waldo, which is help people get switched to consumer side. Let our customers coordinate it. Anytime anybody complains about their second bill, you say you gotta check out consumer side. Consumer side gives you access to a fast, reliable, nationwide network for up to half the cost of big rivals.
Or a previous provider is there.
Why are we paying this much for a cell phone bill? It's crazy, right? Got calls or missed calls or meetups.
You would get in touch with person now with consumer cellular, no problems.
Our reception is so much better than consumer cellular. It's goodness.
I just made a road trip across half the country and I did not have one problem.
Better customer service. They tell me exactly what I'm paying and why I'm paying for it.
And here's my favorite. You can say that back on the bill.
That's really a problem.
Verizon was maybe $150 a month. Consumer cellular,
As AARP members, we pay 2 months for $54.
The exact same
explained that they need to plan to apply to authorities just as the ball to ask if murder charges against each crime. Since he was at the scene of the crimes take place, officers were incredulous as he has a question for him. The chief signature had been followed in 2017, but some questions still remain, like why did Jason come up with the story about the spirits in the first place? Why did this natural for a person to tell what he done what most people can't do? There's inside that was the one they are not participating and some of the time after the cemetery. I believe this case is his mother, sister, and as that following information was that as the line between reality and just Jason and Josh in prison. Do you really want to be the same without the glasses? The initial shock is tremendous. The shock will be that I think is greater than getting in a partnership and you've probably spread so far. You see? And regardless of who you are, this should be the reality is that this can happen. And that includes mental health and their ability to make proper decisions. But it's only because of the community itself that justice is found. The believers supposed to be found aided by their those books to the family, library designs, the truth may never have come out. I should always be listen and I'm good at the ceremony. I had no thought.
Help can't come fast enough.
These animals are suffering from rays of sun that they can't escape. They don't have access to any shelter or shade. They're licking the bottom of holes that have been dry for days. These animals are dying from heat.
For many animals across the country right now, the shade and time is running out.
There are animals wasting away under the hot sun. No access to shelter, no access to fresh water. They are suffering.
Will you help an animal who's suffering in the burning sun right now? Visit this website, call or scan the code on your screen. Your gift of just $19 a month can be the difference between life and death for an animal this summer.
There are situations in which an animal will lay down and they will live up. Because that, honestly, is their better escape from this reality.
And that's why we can't give up and why we need you right this minute. We've been giving animals new beginnings for 160 years, but there are more animals who need us right now. 63 cents a day will help an animal who may not survive much longer. That's why we need 3,000 new donors in the next 30 days. Say yes to pulling an animal out of the burning heat today. Join in the next 5 minutes, and we'll send you this welcome kit and this adorable plush dog.
You have dogs that are quite literally trying to claw their way out of the situation that they've been put in. These dogs have no access to shade. They don't have access to water. They're desperately searching for it, and they have no options. They are trapped. We have to step up for these animals. We have to be that voice for them. They don't have any other way to advocate for themselves.
Visit this website, call, or scan the code on your screen. Your gift of just $19 a month can be the difference between life and death for an animal this summer.
You want a bag to take to
These
it?
dogs are experiencing a moment in which they want to give up. Every minute that goes by, every day that passes, is a day that they may no longer survive.
5 minutes, and we'll send you this welcome kit and this adorable plush dog.
We know it's our responsibility to give them that shelter as soon as possible, to give them that water, to give them that chance to survive.
So please, don't wait another second. Help rescue an animal today. Go online, call, or scan right now. The extreme heat is here, and animals across the country are struggling to survive.
These are incredibly dangerous environments. Think about the risk to that animal's life.
When temperatures soar, animals are pushed to their limit.
They're trying to get out of the elements, and you can tell that they tried everything they could.
Every hour can make the difference between life and death.
They don't have access to water. They have no access to shade. They are trapped, quite literally, at the mercy of the sun.
In conditions like these, animals have no time to wait. Heat exhaustion can set in fast, and once it does, survival is uncertain. This is an urgent appeal for help. We need 1,000 new donors so we can help reach more animals who've been left in the scorching heat. Please help now by visiting this website, calling this number, or scanning the code here on your screen. Where there's need, we go there for animals. But right now, we need you.
What I
Just
don't put
$19
you
a
away.
month. It'll take just a few minutes of your time, but it will mean everything to an animal who's almost out of time, an animal who's suffering.
We pride ourselves on trying to get there and help these animals before it's too late.
Many animals are almost out of time, so please don't delay. We need 1,000 donors right away, so we can help rescue more animals from painful distress. Sign up with your monthly gift in the next 5 minutes, and we'll send you this welcome kit, an adorable plush dog to remind you of this moment in time when you did your part to help. For just 63 cents a day, you'll give them protection, water, and emergency medical care. Please don't wait. Help save an animal today. Go online, call, or scan now.
The FBI Files, next on True Crime Network.
On February 2nd, 2000, on the quiet back roads of Lincoln County, Nebraska, Lincoln County Sheriff's Deputy Stan McKnight was on routine patrol when he saw a vehicle rapidly approach from behind. A maroon pickup truck sped past. McKnight spotted Texas plates of the pickup, but he could not make out the numbers. The deputy began cautious pursuit. Recent weather conditions have created black ice on the roads. Without the benefit of streetlights, the roads appeared normal, but were treacherously covered with patches of slick ice.
Come on.
Deputy McKnight radioed for assistance.
Police alert, all available units.
Several Nebraska State Patrol troopers mobilized to try to intercept the pickup. Whoever was in the truck seemed to have no regard for his own safety. Since the roads were free of other traffic and no one else was in danger, McKnight decided high-speed pursuit was not worth the risk.
It appeared as though he knew the area that he was in, and due to the fact he would take more chances and drive faster than I would, he was able to disappear.
Eventually, the truck vanished into the night.
I had called in for assistance from the department, and all the deputies and state troopers were working, and we combed the whole area looking for that vehicle, and it was to no avail.
Nebraska police issued a be on the lookout bulletin for the maroon pickup with Texas plates. But that night, no one spotted the vehicle or its driver. A week later, 40 miles away in North Platte, Nebraska, deputies responded to a call from a farmer. He hadn't used his barn in years. So the farmer was surprised to discover someone had been working there recently, leaving a strange workplace behind. The deputies found chemicals and other items available in farm supply stores. They had often seen this combination of materials in the area before. They were the ingredients needed to make methamphetamine, an illegal drug. Powerful stimulant. Meth is also known as crack, speed. It's easy to make, materials commonly found on farms. In recent years, the Midwestern countryside has seen an epidemic of methamphetamine production, according to Lincoln County, Nebraska Sheriff's Corporal Casey Nelms.
Methamphetamine labs are a problem because it's such a rural area, a lot of abandoned farmhouses, farmsteads where people don't live anymore. It gives an opportunity for these people to go in and manufacture this drug pretty much undetected.
The drug is addictive and extremely dangerous. Users feel a temporary high, then intense paranoia, and a craving for more. Most users become aggressive and desperate. When meth labs pop up in an area, violent crime follows. During their search of the meth lab at the North Platte barn, deputies found several pieces of mail. They were addressed to Charles Moses Jr. of Tacoma, Texas. Deputies contacted Texas authorities asking for information on Moses. They received photos of Moses and learned there were warrants for his arrest for the theft of several firearms. Nebraska investigators also learned Moses drove a maroon pickup truck with Texas plates. The make and model of the truck matched the description and had evaded Deputy McKnight only a week earlier. If Charles Moses was manufacturing methamphetamine, there was a good chance he was using it too. That might explain why Moses drove so recklessly in the night of the chase.
The people that use this become very paranoid. They have no pain threshold. Sometimes they're up for days, and they're just a real problem. They're hard to handle.
During their rounds in the tightly knit communities in the area, police showed the photo of Moses and asked if anyone had noticed an outsider fitting his description. Some residents reported seeing him in the past.
We were pretty sure that he was in the area.
But no one had seen him in several days, and Moses had no local address. At 11 p.m. on February 12, 2000, a week after the meth lab was discovered, Lincoln County Corporal Casey Nelms was about to start his shift. As was his routine, he picked up a cup of coffee before hitting the road. But that night would prove to be anything but routine. Through the window, Nelms spotted a vehicle that matched the description of Charles Moses' pickup truck.
Me too.
But he needed to get a look at the driver.
When he got out of the pickup, he resembled the individual that we were looking for.
The truck had Texas plates.
716, 1089.
Nelms headed out to check the man's ID. But the man spoke first.
Where's the road track out there? Pretty slick. Where are you heading? Just gonna head out. I approached him and asked him if he was where he was going or what he was doing. I asked him for his identification, and when he handed it to me, the name on the driver's license was Charles Moses. really expected that once I got a hold of him in the vehicle, that I was gonna be able to, you know, take him out of the vehicle without any problem and place him under arrest, but he was just spectacularly strong. I just couldn't do anything with him, except just keep struggling with him to try to keep the weapon away from my face.
Moses fired.
I was pretty sure 2 of my rounds hit. The second round I saw it hit the back of the cab, and the third round also hit the back of the cab.
Ellis tried to follow Moses. The fugitive drove with the recklessness of a man on methamphetamine. It disappeared. Nebraska State Patrol officers heard the shots fired call and joined the search for the would-be cop killer. Lincoln County Sheriff's Deputy Stan McKnight, who had chased the maroon truck before, heard about the pursuit on the radio. He needed to position himself in a place where he was likely to intercept Moses.
There's an area that's commonly called the correction line. It's an area where I could see the best I thought possible 3 different roads intersecting that area. That was the middle one. I could watch a mile behind me, that one, and a mile in front of me.
McKnight waited in the dark, hoping he was in the right place.
After about 10 or 15 minutes of sitting there, a vehicle did come from the west at the very road intersection that I was at. And as they got right to the front of my vehicle, I turned my headlights on and I saw the vehicle that was the same identical vehicle that I'd seen less than 2 weeks before. He was traveling in excess of 70 to 80 miles an hour. In nighttime conditions, it was hard to see him, and he was out of distance me quite rapidly.
Deputy McKnight tried to maintain a visual on the pickup truck. But the vehicle seemed to disappear yet again. I changed tactics.
At that point, he had pretty much got ahead of me. At the same time, I had to slow down and check driveways and intersecting road intersections to make sure he hadn't turned off on me.
Then the deputy saw a vehicle's brake lights in the distance. It was idling at the empty intersection. Deputy McKnight called for backup. Moses had already fired at one officer. It was too dangerous for the deputy to advance alone. He waited for the backup officers. Before they came, Moses made his move. One bullet entered Stan McKnight's hand. Another ripped through his hand.
Upon figuring out that I'd been hit by a bullet, I was going to try to call the rest of the officers around to let them know what was going on. Only when I reached for the mic, I couldn't talk. My mouth was all full of blood and I started to choke. So I felt around and I found some napkins in the seat. I got them shoved up in my mouth to make the blood go out. I got it spit out and I could talk. And let them know that I'd been hit and that the subject that went on to the left was going to be chasing.
Despite his injury, Deputy McKnight was not going to give up his pursuit.
The wind was coming through the holes in the windshield, blowing glass all over. My left eye was completely shot with blood. My right eye was just blinking, but I could still see enough of my headlights to keep going down the road.
Based on the coordinates of that radio, several teams of Nebraska State Patrol troopers headed towards state positions in the west. They drove with their headlights and flashes off so they didn't alert Moses. The troopers in 2 cars positioned themselves at the dark county road. Minutes later, headlights. trooper spotted a gun. After firing a full clip of Moses, the trooper realized a bullet had torn through his bulletproof vest. He was losing blood fast. Just in hospital dozens of miles away. In the dark prairie, the troopers hoped that a fallen friend would survive. In a frantic escape, Charles Moses had shot both a sheriff's deputy and a state trooper. Though gravely injured, Deputy McKnight continued pursuit of Moses, a man willing to kill to stay on the run. Get better with so face your feet.
Let's take a call. Webster foot pain?
My heels feel like the devil is jabbing a flaming pitch.
Oh, yep. Heel pain is the dark one specialty. You know what you need? Kuru. These little foot saviors have a patented design that cradle your heel and put out any pitchfork fire from Beelzebub. If you don't like your Kurus, Kuru has a return policy that is heaven sent.
That's great. How's that as great?
Whoa, okay. I help foot pain.
Discharge.
Just foot pain.
Am I cursed by the devil?
I help foot pain. Foot pain. Lines are open if you have foot pain. Give me a call. Kuru Guru. No, honey, mommy's working. There's nuggies in the freezer. Yep. Ask your dad. Ask dad. Hey, mom's working. Finally.
I'm already husband and I have a bucket list and I'm doing it. My secret?
If you're over 50, imagine you can turn back the clock on working joints and muscles and recover faster than you have in years.
It helps restore my joints and muscles without just temporarily masking my symptoms and without side effects.
Get a complimentary sample just by texting FAIR to 42424.
All new Instaflex Complete targets 5 root causes of joint and muscle discomfort and boosts recovery with a unique combination of patented key ingredients found nowhere else. 100% drug-free key ingredients backed by 7 clinical studies. I love new Instaflex Complete. I'm telling you, it really works. Let's go again.
Text FAIR to 42424 to get your complimentary sample of new Instaflex Complete. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex Pain Cream for fast-acting relief of the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free.
After 50, stiff joints and sore muscles, not slowing me down. I love performing, but I also love pickleball and motorcycling and ziplining and playing with my grandkids. My secret? New Instaflex Complete.
Get a complimentary sample just by texting FAIR to 42424.
All new Instaflex Complete targets 5 root causes of joint and muscle discomfort and boosts recovery with a unique combination of patented key ingredients found nowhere else. 100% drug-free key ingredients backed by 7 clinical studies. It helps restore my joints and muscles without just temporarily masking my symptoms and without side effects. New Instaflex Complete is so powerful, I had better knees in just 1 week. You've got to try it.
Text FAIR to 42424 to get your complimentary sample of new Instaflex Complete. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex Pain Cream for fast-acting relief of the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free.
What works? What actually works? I want to wake up and understand the choices I'm making. No confusion, just clarity. Supplements backed by experts and over 40 years of science. So, what works? Now I know. Thorn.
In February of 2000, Nebraska authorities confronted Charles Moses, a Texas fugitive suspected of running a methamphetamine lab. Escaping, he led police on a high-speed chase, shooting one deputy in the head, the state trooper in the chest.
before vanishing into the night. Paramedics stabilized the wounded trooper, then transported him to the nearest emergency room. Helping to process the crime scene was Nebraska State Patrol Sergeant Lynn Williams.
We secured the area, and then our major concern was obviously the gathering of evidence. So we collected the trooper's service pistol, his duty and gun belt, spent shell casings that were still at the scene. We took 35mm photographs, videotaped the scene.
Moses had fired several bullets. One struck the cruiser's reflective seal, perhaps the only thing visible in the dark area.
The bullet had passed through the door of the trooper's patrol car, had struck the trooper in the abdomen, piercing his bulletproof vest, as well as traveling through the body.
To get through that much protection, the gun Moses used against the police had to be a powerful one.
It was obvious that this was a high-powered rifle. We were looking for some sort of assault rifle, something large bore, high-powered.
The state police brought the spent rifle slugs to their ballistics lab for analysis. Technicians there examined the size, weight, and metal composition of the slugs. They determined they were high-velocity rounds, most likely fired from a 7.62 SKS military assault rifle. Deadly weaponry designed for trained military personnel, something else entirely in the hands of the criminal. After the multiple cop shooting, the FBI joined the effort to capture Moses. Special Agent Ron Raybach took the call of the normally quiet North Platte, Nebraska FBI resident agency.
Our caseload primarily is in the area of white-collar crime, and it's not very common that we get called in to assist in investigations of violent criminal activity.
Agent Raybach gathered information to obtain an unlawful flight to avoid prosecution warrant against Moses.
In this particular case, we anticipated that Moses would leave the state of Nebraska after he fled his arrest, and that the FBI could assist in locating him.
Hoping to catch Moses before he left Nebraska, authorities set up a command center at a state police barracks. Officers from virtually every law enforcement agency in the state shared intelligence on Moses. Several had had run-ins with him, usually in connection with clandestine meth labs.
He had a history of using abandoned farmsteads, farm places, not only for the manufacture of methamphetamine, but for hiding and living as well. So we knew that we needed to be aware of this and target those areas for search.
Hundreds of police vehicles across the state mobilized, with officers looking for any sign of Charles Moses or his maroon pickup truck. In the sprawling rural landscape, finding Moses would not be easy. Investigators also hoped the public would assist in the search. Media owners urged citizens to avoid Moses and to call the police if responded. In the small town of Dickens, Nebraska, 30 miles south of where the two officers were shot, a young farmer found tire tracks leading to a garage. His parents' car was pulled inside. Instead, there was a maroon pickup truck. His parents' car was gone. Recognizing the truck immediately, the farmer called the police. The Nebraska State Patrol confirmed the truck belonged to Charles Moses. That officers had hit the vehicle when returning fire.
The license plate that we were looking for was still displayed on the truck, which was registered to Mr. Moses. It had evidence that it had been shot at with a firearm. The bullet holes were in the back, portion of the cab. They had shattered the back window of the cab. Some had lodged in the dash of the cab, and some had passed out through the front windshield.
Investigators also found evidence the suspect was wounded by at least one of the many shots fired at him.
We located human blood in the gap, the interior of the pickup. That led us to believe that possibly when the Lincoln County deputy had fired at Moses early on during the incident, that possibly he had struck.
But if Moses was injured, he had the perfect drug to stay alert, pain-free, and rested, to keep running without sleep.
There was a tremendous amount of paraphernalia located in his pickup that deals with cooking and manufacturing. He virtually had a lab present in the back of the truck.
Investigators also found survivalist gear, police radios, and weapons in the truck. What they didn't find was the high-powered assault rifle Moses used to shoot two police officers. An hour after the pickup was found, and 60 miles northwest of Ogallala, Nebraska, the Nebraska State Patrol responded to a call from a man who said he was an acquaintance of Charles Moses. The man said he had seen Moses 15 minutes earlier. Moses spoke to him at a truck stop. He was in a car that matched the description of the vehicle missing at Dickens Farm. While they talked, Moses heard a radio bulletin that said police were looking for the vehicle. He panicked and took off. The man said he had waited 15 minutes to call police because he was afraid at first. The dangerous fugitive knew where his family lived. Police worried Moses would change vehicles again to throw them off his trail. 2 hours after the last sighting, 20 miles south of the truck stop in Paxton, Nebraska, a farmer noticed fresh tire tracks outside a house in his family's farmstead, a house that was closed up and unused. He called his family and asked if anyone had been to the house. They hadn't. They told him about the bulletins, warning of a dangerous fugitive in the area. They said he should leave the place immediately. A relative on the line heard the farmer talking to someone. The police would soon learn that Charles Moses had just claimed his first murder victim. The deadly fugitive was still on the run. Now, more desperate than ever.
Your next breakdown could cost thousands.
Unless you have endurance.
I will never pay for cover car repairs again.
This driver's not leaving without paying thousands.
These repairs cost thousands too, except the driver's not paying for it. Endurance is.
Endurance has saved me over $3,400.
It was like almost a $6,000 job. Endurance covered it.
If your car's out of warranty, a new water pump could cost over $1,300.
Over here, it's covered.
An engine, $80,000.
With endurance, it's covered.
I tell all my customers, let Endurance pay for that car repair. My first year with Endurance, they covered a $14,000 engine replacement.
With endurance, you can keep your car on the road longer.
And never pay out of pocket for a costly repair. To save $1,000, I would take it any day.
Endurance covers your car's most expensive repairs.
Parts and labor included. And you're steering around
A $5,000 head gasket repair.
Endurance coverage starts to finish. And your rate stays the same no matter how many claims you file.
I expected my rate to change, and it never did.
Plus, Endurance lets you pick the mechanic you trust to do the work.
Or take advantage of their VIP repair network.
So how much is Endurance coverage really?
Way less than you think.
Totally beat every other competitor.
If your car's under 20 years old, Endurance has you covered with unlimited miles. Plus, your plan includes 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country.
So, who's gonna pay for your next car repair? You?
Nah, Endurance.
Right now, you can get $300 off any plan. Plus, a year of elite benefits, a $2,000 bounty free. All backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. Visit EnduranceWarranty.com or call 1-833-490-8644 for a free quote. That's 1-833-490-8644.
At
At Consumer Cellular, my job is to help you save money on wireless.
I'm saving over $50 a month. I'm saving almost $100 a month.
Consumer Cellular gives you the same fast, reliable nationwide network for up to half the cost of wireless.
Same talent, same coverage.
Our customers rate us #1 in network coverage satisfaction. And there's no long-term contracts. I've been through TracFone, T-Mobile, Verizon. Nothing compares to Consumer Cellular.
It's the Consumer Cellular Summer Switch Event. If you're 50 and over, you can cut up to 50% off your big wireless bill. And right now, save an extra $50 off with code SAVE50. Plus, AARP members save even more. Call right now and speak with a U.S.-based sales rep in about 15 seconds. So call now and save during the Summer Switch Event. Call 1-800-977-7162. That's 1-800-977-7162.
We pull people off the street and ask them about their hearts.
How's your heart? My heart's pretty good. Sure. How do you know? When you're driving a car, you have to check engine lights. With a heart that's not doesn't check heart sign.
Check your heart in just 30 seconds with Cardio Mobile. And enjoy the convenience and reliability of a medical-grade EKG from anywhere. And you can get Cardio Mobile today for just $79 at cardio.com or Amazon, so you can start taking charge of your heart health.
I want to show you something. A couple fingers right on those pads. There you go. In 30 seconds, we're going to have medical-grade EKG. There it is.
Cardio Mobile is proven to detect up to 3 of the most common arrhythmias, including atrial fibrillation, one of the leading causes of stroke. Cardio Mobile is the #1 doctor-recommended personal EKG, plus it's the most affordable EKG you can get without a prescription at a fraction of the cost of a smartwatch. Get Cardio Mobile today for just $79 plus free shipping at cardio.com or Amazon.
Coming up next on True Crime Network.
On February 14th, 2000, 36 hours after fugitive Charles Moses seriously wounded 2 Nebraska law enforcement officers, a murder investigation began in Paxton, Nebraska. The victim was a local farmer, killed while talking to a relative on his cell phone. The investigative team had to piece together the murder from crime scene clues. The circumstances indicated Charles Moses was involved, to Nebraska State Police Sergeant Lynn Williams.
We had learned that the victim had drove into the abandoned farmstead to check on tire tracks that he observed. We believe that he surprised Moses, and Moses reacted to that surprise and shot the victim, killing him. Moses then drug the victim from the victim's pickup, placed him on the ground, and Moses then got back in the victim's pickup and left the scene.
Troopers found tracks consistent with those on the model of truck the farmer drove, as well as broken glass from the truck on one side of the driveway. The position of the glass suggested the vehicle's driver's side window had been blown out. FBI Special Agent Ron Brable viewed the glass was an important clue.
I anticipated that Moses would try and use a defense, of self-defense, stating that he was returning fire from someone shooting him. I knew that I could determine how many shots were fired and the direction that the shots originated from. When a high-speed projectile hits a piece of glass and the glass breaks, physical characteristics are left in the glass. This answers questions for the crime scene investigator. It tells them which bullet hit first and the direction of travel of the bullet.
The glass would be exactly later black. Behind a barn, investigators found the stolen car Moses' last name driving. The car seemed hastily abandoned. In the back seat, troopers found chemicals, knives, and several firearms. It appeared that Moses had switched vehicles after he heard a radio report that police were looking for this car.
It was very obvious that Mr. Moses had been attempting to hide or camouflage concealed vehicle. He had a tarp over it, and Moses was in the process of covering the vehicle with broken and dead branches, tree branches, that sort of stuff.
Investigators found the victim's identification.
They couldn't find a cell phone. They believe Moses had the phone ready in the father's blue pickup truck. They issued an APB for the vehicle and contacted cell phone companies to begin tracking the cell phone signal. While powered on, cell phones are constantly in search of the nearest tower, ready for use. Police can flag a specific phone number and learn which tower is served.
If you're in there, type in the chat. I'll be in there in a second to check it out.
Farmers Birch was discovered.
No good time for Waldo.
A cell phone tower in Oshkosh, Nebraska picked up the signal from the missing phone. But before police could respond to the location, the cell phone signal disappeared. The FBI also studied the glass fragments from the Farmstead crime scene.
I was able to determine that one bullet had been fired from outside the truck into the truck, and that the bullet thereafter passed through the truck. My examination further disclosed that no shots were fired from inside the truck. This was not self-defense. This was murder.
Was the farmer's murder the theft of his pickup truck? The FBI issued another federal warrant against Charles Moses. With Charles Moses crisscrossing the state, armed and out of control, Nebraska Governor Mike Johans held a news conference to warn the public. It was clear the fugitive was ready to kill civilians to get what he wanted. That evening, 80 miles to the west near the Nebraska-Wyoming border, an elderly woman was enjoying a quiet evening. She heard someone breaking into her door. It sounded like he was looking for something.
You're a big sucky baby. You're a big sucky baby.
The woman was unarmed and called police.
You're a good boy.
She explained that she never saw the man's face.
Tell the people what kind of dogs you guys have.
The deputies in the Scottsbluff, Nebraska
Leave it
sheriff
in the comments.
found tire tracks consistent with those of the pickup truck stolen from the murdered farmer. They also recovered automotive glass near the left tire track. Its position suggested it came from the driver's side window. The window investigators believe Moses shot out while killing the farmer.
When you do.
Local officers contacted the FBI about the development.
From the facts of the case and the type of glass left at that crime scene, it was obvious that Moses had been involved in that burglary and that he was traveling in a westerly direction.
With Charles Moses believed to be near Nebraska's western border, the FBI notified Wyoming law agencies that a killer might be headed their way. The small town of Lusk, Wyoming was 20 miles from the Nebraska border.
Oh, yeah, they
At Lusk, East Chief Gary Gill received the FBI program.
That morning, we heard about Charles Moses from our dispatch. We knew that he was driving a Nebraska pickup truck, blue in color.
Oh, he's a sucky baby dog. Oh, he's a sucky baby dog that wants to fight.
Around 1 p.m. that afternoon, the media alerts paid off.
We heard about the call from a truck driver who had called into dispatch and was relayed to our office. That possibly that pickup truck Charles Moses was driving was at the southern parking lot of the truck stop here in Lusk.
Assistant Chief Dustin Christie responded to the scene along with Chief Gill.
Watch yourself.
Several vehicles in the parking lot fit the description.
decided to try to block him in if we could.
The officers approached the officers. Someone was inside, but the officers couldn't tell who was Moses. The truck's driver's side window appeared to be missing. If it was Moses, he might have finally come down with a long and haggard methamphetamine addiction. Chief Gill called for backup and waited for more units to arrive. Then, the driver woke up.
You speak? Speak! Speak! You're all excited. Speak! Speak! Woo!
Our biggest fear during the chase is when Moses turned around the main street and headed north. We knew he was going to be traveling through our business district and more than likely a high rate of speed. And also the fear of maybe losing him once he got through the city limits and had one on Highway 85.
Ouch! Trying to bite me, bud? You want to fight, eh? You want to fight? Come on, please.
Self-protection is
Take that.
important to me.
That's
Because it
right.
helps me sleep.
Give me that guy.
I feel like gold and silver. It's just a way of retaining wealth when everything else collapses. And you need
Chill, I'll be back in a
insurance
minute.
in regards to the value of everything. Because gold and silver keep up with inflation. You're just exchanging something tangible that has intrinsic value for something that's just paper. And U.S. Reserve was the company that I felt comfortable with. When I first saw the advertisement, the thing that caught my attention was the president, Philip Deal, who he was, 35th director, the U.S. Mint. I thought, well, this man knows what he's doing. And so I felt safe. That really is what sold me, just the integrity of the company. That's important to me. I would recommend U.S. Federal Reserve without any hesitation or reservation to anyone. I would not use anyone else, honestly.
If you've bought gold in the past or would like to learn more about why physical gold should be an important part of your portfolio, call to receive the complete guide to buying gold. This is important and valuable information, including facts you should know about purchasing gold, silver, platinum, or palladium. Call now and you'll also receive the Global Gold Forecast Special Report. Inside, you'll find the real issues on why you need to start owning gold today. You'll also receive a copy of the new report, Protection in the Risk Zone. With more than 2 decades in business, over $3 billion in transactions, and more than 1 million clients worldwide, U.S. Money Reserve is one of the most dependable gold distributors in America.
After eluding Nebraska authorities and the FBI, suspected murderer Charles Moses crossed into Lusk, Wyoming. Lusk police were in pursuit. But Moses had a lead and never hesitated for a moment.
Mr. Moses finally got away from us off Highway 85 on the ranch road. The road was very rutted up. Our small vehicles with two-wheel drive could not keep up with him in four-wheel drive in the pickup he had. He went down to the ranch place and across a old dam and up into the pasture through fences and things where we couldn't chase him.
Authorities lost him again. So Lusk police teamed with the Niobrara County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Samuel Week helped devise a 10-mile perimeter to contain Moses. They couldn't rush him.
We were unsure what his